know why, but cats love boxes. So does it make a cat in a box a cat box? I know there used to be a show called Cat Dog. Well, this is going on too long. Welcome to the 365 vlog. Let's go. People, today is November 15th, 2016, day 321 of the 365 vlog, and I'm gonna talk about some movie stuff. One of the things that I'm primarily talking about in this video is the fact that, I think I've talked about in other videos too, is that there are no new things being produced, because I talked about that in my reboot video, I talked about that in a few other movies and genre types, but this is more so in another vein of movie topics, that there are no real classics. I feel like when you think about movies nowadays, maybe it'll take some time before we get to that point, like I need to be like my dad's age or something, or my parents' age, before there's actually any classics. But I wonder, what will there actually be other than just rehashes of what we already have? I feel like one of the things that I said in the reboot video is that a lot of Hollywood, and in general, not just people of color movies, Hollywood in general is very scared to actually take that extra step or try and be like brave in terms of coming out with different kinds of stuff, because one, it costs money, and two, they're not certain about the project for various reasons, whatever that may be. Not just because it's a person of color movie, maybe they just don't feel like that movie will meld well with audiences. Another feeling that I have about this whole like there's no timeless type movie is that we live in an age where everything is like digested instantaneously. There are seconds in how like media is like consumed, versus like before, people would really engage with it and take a longer time to, I guess, embrace whatever it is, the medium that they were like just trying to enjoy, like how long they had to actually do that. I think that's an important key factor here if we're looking at it. One of the most important things is that people are consuming media so fast that maybe all of the new media that's being created now, we're going to specifically talk about movies, makes it really hard for something to be timeless, because it would have to stand the test of a second or a couple of seconds. I mean, even look at Vine. Vine was like 6 seconds or something, and a movie is like 2 hours, and relatively that is really long. Even this YouTube video may be too long for some people, because some people may or may not find this interesting or find it at all, so it may be too much for them. So even 4-minute videos for myself is way too long for me to actually consume. Don't get me wrong, I don't say there's like no movies that are timeless. I mean, there are a couple that people can remember and will remember, but I can't even think of like live action. It's really hard, since I thought of the last big live action movie, maybe The Hunger Games, you could say. You could argue that. I mean, one really great, however you want to put it, animated movie was Frozen. That did amazing, and I think that's also very timeless. But I think that's a lot more easier to make as a timeless movie, a children's movie, because that's something you grow up with and grow into after years of watching it over and over as a kid. Just an interesting parallel. Maybe people are less critical of kids movies, but even though I feel like there's more quality put into them, especially the animated ones, versus like live action films where they get a lot of flack, and I guess it's easier for adults to be critical, especially since a lot of them are rehashes or reboots, or just in general they just didn't enjoy the movie for what it was because they felt like it wasn't great writing. I feel like it's like a tough pickle, because time is against these movies, especially since the amount of time is shortened so much to how much enjoyability a movie can have, or how many times you can watch it again. I feel like that's really changed over the last couple of years. That's like the main point to this video. I think like time itself has affected how people perceive or figure out what is actually timeless and what they love. And I don't even know how to say that about like TV shows either. TV shows are another realm that is very different, and how people consume it is also very different, because we have Netflix, for example, where you can like binge watch a series if it's a Netflix original or whatever, and you just watch it all at one time. Or even other shows, maybe you haven't caught up in them and you just see it for the first time, you also just consume them in one sitting. There's no week to week type thing. Well, in some cases for shows that come on TV, but it's just interesting how like time has shifted, and it's made it all the more relative to what can be timeless and what isn't. Honestly don't know what bridges that gap, because I even feel like I fall into that trap too. I'm like, I watched one show this week and I'm like, oh, that was great. Next week I'm on to another show. Like, there aren't people constantly talking about a show. Like, oh, okay, maybe even one show that is like definitely groundbreaking, or at least a lot of people got into it, I think is like Breaking Bad. That one I think is really timeless in terms of like rewatchability, watching it again, and how popular it was for its time. So maybe there are definitely some, like I said earlier in the video, but it's really hard to point out, I guess because they're few and far between. Yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed this rambly video, and if you made it to the end of this video, don't hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe for more. So tell me guys, what do you think about this idea of timeless versus non-timeless and time in a new media age? Sound like I'm trying to be all fancy and shit. I am. Hey guys, I'm Vandal, don't forget to keep it 365, and I will talk to you next time with another video. Peace. Boy. I didn't do the 3 this time. Boy. But nonetheless, the first day I was just really like, when the rooms went up and they were gone, I was just really upset and saddened. And not too long after that, Kuma's operation thing happened, so then money was gonna be tight. So it just looked like we weren't going to go to MagFest